Hey y'all, insight number 3. So this is in Mark 5. So yeah, we've jumped forward, we're coming back again. This is a guy called Jairus, and his daughter's really sick, probably dying, which becomes obvious if you've seen somebody sick that is dying. You kind of just know. They get a certain breathing and colour to them. And it's pretty scary sometimes if you don't want to lose them. But this is a miracle around a miracle. And this just shows you again those daily compassionate detours that you can make. On his way to save someone's life, something else happens in the middle of it. So let's just look at the beginning of Jairus' story. Then we'll look at what happens in the middle. And then in insight number 5, we'll look at the rest of Jairus' story. So, this is after he's thrown out we just talked about insight number 2, Legion, and all the pigs get off the cliff, gone. So then he departs and goes to Decapolis. This is what the guy did. And Jesus passed over again with the guy that we were just talking about. He goes over and talks to everybody and tells amazing stuff Jesus did. So when Jesus actually gets back there, they're all ready to hear him. But when Jesus passed again over by ship unto the other side, so this is after the storm, he's got back into the ship, he's going over to the other side. Much people gathered around him, and because they knew he was coming, he's like, oh my gosh. But behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue. So he's Jewish. And remember, the Jews didn't really like Jesus. This guy did. This guy knew he was the Christ. Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. Now, this is not common behavior. If you're a ruler amongst the Jews, people fall at your feet. You don't fall at other people's feet. So this is not common behavior. This guy is desperately, panicking and worried about his daughter. And he says to Christ, behold him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. So there was Jesus is going, and so everyone's like, oh, we're going to see this too. Let's go witness another miracle. Let's go see what he's going to do. So he's not just traveling by himself. There's a whole group of people, not just it would be like a state conference following him everywhere. Not exactly moving around easily, is it? Crowded, very crowded. And I'm kind of thinking that's probably why Christ gets what it feels like to have anxiety around crowds and people pushing at you. And I always think, because he knows what that's like. Anyway, in the midst of an already busy to capacity day, remember this is the day where all these things happen, another miracle is called for. Help my daughter. So Jesus goes, of course, and the crowd with him. Already no doubt physically exhausted, Jesus finds strength in serving just like we can. So that's what I take from this. So this is the beginning of it. So he's heading to Jairus' daughter. Something's going to happen next, and we'll talk about that in the next insight. But I want to share this from Elder Rasband, just to think about, we can find strength in serving just like Jesus did. We can find that. Jesus will give us strength to do that. So this is, though, think about the timing, because this will come into it. Because Jairus, obviously, as you can tell, is completely stressing that his daughter's going to die. And nobody really wants their kid to die before them, do they? No, they don't. But sometimes it happens. And in our world today, we have a lot of miracles, but they are the exception for saving lives. They happen. And there's miracles happening every day. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying miracles themselves are the exception, but this kind of miracle that's about to happen is somewhat of an exception now. It's just not as common, but in that there are definitely miracles every day, and we can see them, but it comes in the Lord's timing. So let's hear what Elder Rasband had to say on this. He said, there are times we hope for a miracle to heal a loved one, to reverse an unjust act, or to soften the heart of a bitter or disillusioned soul. Looking at things through mortal eyes, we want the Lord to intervene, to fix what is broken. Through faith, the miracle will come, though not necessarily on our timetable, or with the resolution we desired. So keep that in mind. So while Jairus gets his miracle, there's probably a lot of other things in his life that he would like fixed, and they come on the Lord's timetable. And we know that his daughter survived, but for how long, and what was actually wrong with her, and did it happen again, we don't know. So if you're looking at that and thinking, some people get healing and I don't, actually, there's healing to be had. It just might not be the physical healing you're after, and I can know that's for myself. I have that. I have found great spiritual healing. I have good mental healing. My physical healing, there's some, but it's not what I want. I'm not ever going to be the physical person, the physically strong person. I am always going to be that one that needs to sit down often and have a rest, but I still can accomplish a lot. There's still a lot of strength given me to do what I need to do. But physically, no. And it's here, like the miracle will come, but not necessarily on my timetable or with the resolution I desired. It's going to be different, but yet I'm still blessed in many, many ways. Even though it's different, it's totally fine. I have a lot. So Jairus figures this, but a lot of us need to know this. And I just really felt strongly to really stress this, because there's a lot of people that I've encountered who talk to me of there's no more miracles, or I'm not getting answers. And it's like, well, they are, just not on your timetable and not in the way you think. And the things that you might look at as not being a miracle really are. And I talked last year, I think it was last year, about how throwing up is a miracle. And I had never thought of that before, and I had read that in an Instagram story where her daughter had thrown up what she was allergic to and actually saved her life. And it's the body doing what it should do, but this was a child that never threw up. And that actually, she said the throwing up was the miracle. And then we got to the hospital in time, that was another miracle. So it's all perspective. It really is. The miracles are there to be had, not necessarily in our timetable, but more, I think, not the resolution we desired, because this child's allergy wasn't taken away. My physical issues are not taken away, but I am compensated for them. There are miracles that happen that allow me to do what I need to do. And there's enough physical healing to carry on doing what the Lord wants me to do. So it is, but it's not exactly what I desired, if that makes sense. And it's definitely not on my timetable, because I'd like it yesterday, and it ain't happening yesterday, and it hasn't happened today either. Probably won't happen tomorrow, but that's okay. Again, yeah, I'm definitely well compensated, and Jairus learns this, and you'll see that in insight number 5. But I just wanted to really focus on that point, and that yes, all these miracles happen on this particular day and throughout Christ's ministry. And miracles still happen today. They have never ceased to happen. They've always been there. But it's like, what are you looking at as a miracle? Are you looking for the big things like this, or are you looking for all the miracles? And are you expecting them on your timetable and how you think, or are you willing to see them on Christ's timetable and God's timetable and how they see them? Because I think that's make a big difference to you. So think of that as you read through Jairus' story. Now we're going to get to the miracle in the miracle story. So this is a miracle story. That's part 1. Now we're going to go in insight number 4 and talk about the miracle that happens inside of us. I'll see you there.